You are live.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Land Use Review Board Nominating Committee meeting of October 3rd. We are going to just be live briefly to see if there's any public comment on our, if anyone's interested in a public comment before we go into executive session to establish the list of people we're going to interview in the first round of interviews. Is there any public comment that you know of, Megan?
No, I have not heard from anyone.
All right, or any comments that committee members would like to make publicly before we go into executive session? All right, so I'm not seeing any.
I have one question in terms of numbers of candidates. Is that a public part of the conversation in terms of applicants?
Sure, it can be. I mean, we left off last meeting with a goal of getting down to 30 people to interview. And then I started thinking about the math of interviewing 30 people in at least the 2 days we talked about doing it in at the last meeting. And I also, in going through the resumes, felt like I got to 20, and I thought others had gotten to 20 at the previous meeting. So I thought we could kind of look to winnowing it down some.
Okay. Do we, and will that dictate whether or not we do 1 or 2 rounds of interviews? Are we thinking 20 with just 1 round, or?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I feel like we're in a process that we haven't done before, and some of it's just going to depend. I think I think many of us have articulated an interest in 2 rounds of interviews. So I think for now, I would say we'll have two rounds of interviews.
Okay. I guess maybe some of the details of this would be in executive session, because it's going to start coming down to talking about names and who we think is well qualified. And so that probably there's probably not too much more we can, I guess, say publicly, because we're just going to have to hash out through the names. But
yeah, I mean, if we have, yes, exactly. So if we have a lot of consensus around a certain group of candidates, we may do fewer even in this first round, or so. Yeah, it'll be guided by that.
Okay.
Great, thanks. All right, any other public questions? So with that, Ellen, do I need to make a motion? Do we need a motion to go into executive session?
Yes.
Right, I think Seth made a motion then.
Yeah, I'll move that we go into executive session.
Yeah, go ahead, Ellen.
So the first time you guys met, I had set up the language for you. And so you generally need to state why you're going into executive session as part of the motion. And so I think you did that in the sort of vague way just now, but to say you're going to speak about employment and personnel issues in the interview process.
Right.
So move accordingly. Yes.
Second, accordingly.
All right, moved by Representative Bongard, seconded by Senator Harrison, that we go into executive session to talk about the candidates who have applied for the job and select them